Hey everybody, it's Bryce Machine Bates from Team Evil Geniuses, and this is going to be another replay review brought to you by evilgeniuses.net. Today's replay is actually going to be a Zerg vs. Terran against its Gosu DDE, so let's go ahead and jump into the replay. Alright, let's go ahead and speed up through the beginning. This map is actually Entombed Valley, close positions on ladder, so obviously not a very optimal start for myself, just because with both of the opponent's thirds in such close proximity, it's very difficult for a Zerg player to actually fend off the early sort of marine tank pushes. You basically can consider it much like a tall Durham, only actually even harder. So that actually has a lot to do with the suggestion or the build order I opted for in this particular game. So, scout cross map, it's very common on most of these big 4-player maps for opponents to proxy barracks in the center of the map. So I just wanted to eliminate that. Meanwhile, I'm opening with a 15 hatchery, 15 pool. As we can see here, he's proxying a single gateway, or barracks. So I actually am able to go ahead and scout that proxied gateway, and then I want to see if it's a command center going down inside the main, or at the natural, and yes, it is a command center, so I realize it's just a fake proxy 1-Rax expand. He's really trying to get me to overcommit, produce too many Zerglings, and not enough drones, and so I obviously don't make that mistake. Runs in here with a Marine and SCV. I don't really overreact, don't try to engage it. So I realize my Zergling rally will clean it up, no problem. I'm able to kill the SCV there. And now, as I was saying, it's a terrible position for Zerg, but the one nice thing is these are very wide open ramps. So this game I actually opted for a Roach Baneling bust, and it's actually a Roach Baneling bust off of gasless expand. So very uncommon. A lot of Terrans aren't really used to seeing it, so they haven't, it's just not quite in the current metagame, so it's really difficult for them to deal with. Able to pick off an SCV there, but it's just a good map for it and good positions for it in particular, because I know the longer this game goes, the more difficult it's going to be for me to actually hold this third and then secure 4th base simultaneously. And I need some sort of advantage going into mid game if I'm going to do so. So 3rd queen completes, 4th one's in production. He's actually opting just for like a sort of pure bio opening. I don't know that, so I still have to get a pretty decently early spine crawler. And at 40 supply here, I'm going to put down 2 extractors. And immediately after these complete, I'll probably put down a Roach Warren. It's pretty common timing. The real advantage to this gasless sort of transition into the Roach Baneling timing is it's just inconspicuous. No one sees it. It doesn't look anything like any other previous Roach Baneling timing, so people just aren't really sure and don't react to it accordingly because it looks so much similar to another build. So Roach Warren goes down, and other than that, I'm still just spreading creep, producing early Zerglings. I'm breaking this rock, making it look like I'm going to take an early third. He obviously scouted that, and he's actually going for a Marine Marauder timing. So he's just basically waiting for his combat shield here, and then he's going to try to move out, I believe, and hit a big timing window, but unfortunately for him, so am I, and then I'll have defender's advantage. So take my 3rd gas. It's very common with this sort of macro-esque Roach Baneling timing. I've got 38 drones, pretty common number for this, so it's definitely something I can macro out of if need be. And I don't really scout this coming ahead of time at all. He sees my early spine. I recognize I can't really defend it, so I'm going to fall back, wait for my roaches, and defend with my queens as well. Meanwhile, he forces scan. He's going to go ahead and try to kill my creep tumors. And then I can just choose to engage with my roaches on creep with Zerglings. You get a much more cost-effective advantage. Let's see here. Meanwhile, I'm rallying 14 Zerglings, and And once the Zerglings kind of catch up and group up with everything, I'm just going to try to hit that same Ling Bane bust. Meanwhile, he doesn't really have what he needs to in order to go react to this. So I'm just pulling off to the side, kind of hoping he doesn't build any more bunkers. Doesn't look like he's going to. Producing my Banelings at this point, and then I'm going to take a third at the exact same time. So, wait for these Banelings to complete, and then I'll probably just try to break through his wall. We got to look at the units lost tab here. So right now he's a bit behind in resources lost, 500 or 550 to 500. He unfortunately let his ramp down, able to just go blow up his bunker, walk the Banelings. I'm not really attacking him with that. I'm just walking into units, letting him focus down his DPS to kill his own units. As we see here, I actually lost a lot more resources there, but he's lost a decent amount of harvesters. And there's still these 8 roaches inside his base that he has to deal with, so it's only going to be getting more and more cost effective for me from this point on. So, I choose to walk into his production line and then target down this reactor. Reactors are extremely expensive. No one ever really wants to lose a reactor at this point in the game. It's going to shut down his production for quite some time, because now he's only going to be able to build one at a time and then actually have to cancel production for a bit in order to produce that again. His upgrade completed just on time in order at this tech lab. It's a little unfortunate for me, but once again, these reactors, these tech labs, extremely important to the Terran production. So losing them is just extremely devastating at this point in the game. And also, I've scouted everything he's teching to, so I know exactly what I'm up against at this point. He's got a pretty low harvester count, has to start his add-ons again. And meanwhile, I'm securing a third. I've started a macro hatch in my main, put down 2 evolution chambers so I could start my 1-1 upgrades. Baneling nest is obviously already completed for that Roach Baneling timing. Then I just have this handful of Zerglings to scout, break the rocks, and look for any sort of counter all-in from DDE. And unfortunately, once again, he has to start producing all of these add-ons. Once again, they're very costly. And meanwhile, I've just been droning behind this the entire time, and I'm at 70 harvesters to the 39 infestation pit on the way. And I recognize that I've actually done so much damage that I actually could probably hit another timing window against him at this point in the game, just due to the econ damage and the production damage that I've done. So I basically am just going to wait for this pathogen gland to complete, 1-1 to complete, and then try to hit his mainly biocentric army with a very heavy counter to pure bio, being Zergling, Baneling, and Fester. It's a lot of AoE and just really high DPS, like sudden, basically burst damage engagements, where you're able to target down a lot of units simultaneously. And I have good creep spread. I'm almost outside his natural at this point. And basically I just need to focus on defending this early drop, not taking too much damage from it. Starting up my infestor production, I have 7 on the way. 1-1 is complete. And then I can just start producing a lot of Banelings and engage. So let's go ahead and speed through this. 7 infestors on the way. Starting up Baneling production with the rest of my Vespian, because I recognize that I've already produced 7 infestors. That's all I really want for this engagement. Be able to catch some units out on creep. That's huge. Can't really be throwing units away right before a big engagement. And he's just got a single siege tank at this point, handful of Marines, and I've got tons of Zerglings, Banelings, just more than enough for him to really deal with at this point. And he's forced to GG. Alright guys, once again my name is Bryce Machine Bates from Team Evil Geniuses. If you guys like this replay, you can check this out and many more at teamevilgeniuses.net, and this has been a replay review, so thank you guys.